We live in a country where we are led to believe that without having good grades, we will not have a bright future. Are there any alternative ways to be a successful person instead of the normal academic route? Dean Yap, who is currently a stay-at-home dad and a freelance IT professional, is one of the founding members of 100 Voices. After reading about the suicide of an 11-year-old who took his own life because of the anxiety he felt over revealing his grades to his parents, this first prompted him to start 100 Voices. Is failure really that bad? Are we destined for a bad future of bad grades? What happens if I fail and I cannot get back up again? Will I succeed without a high certification? These are the questions commonly asked or commonly thought of in our heads. What led you to start 100 Voices?
We started 100 Voices because of two reasons. One reason is because in 2015, we see a report of 27 youth committing suicide. And a large part of that is due to academic pressure. And this is worrying for us because it's the highest since 2001. And we are looking at less than every 2 weeks, one youth is taking suicide. This doesn't make sense because at this age, the youth are supposed to do silly things and trying out new things and be a bit naive and silly, but yet they end their life.
Can you explain the message you are trying to get out to children and parents through 100 Voices?
We started 100 Voices in a different way. Instead of telling Singaporeans and the public what we want to do, we attempt to get 100 daily Singaporeans to share their personal life journey, okay, from the school life to the adult life. And then by having these 100 people sharing 100 different life journey, we hope that the public will be able to see the multiple pathway to multiple successes.
Final question. What are your thoughts on Mr. Winston Tay's blog about his views on 100 Voices?
The first few stories that we share on the 100 Voices come from entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are naturally they are misfits in our society. So usually there are some people, they are the typical cases of those who are not doing well during their school life, and then they are somehow able to make it in their adult life. So because these are the people who are more courageous to speak up. Okay, and these are the people who form the first advocates for 100 Voices, which is why when we showcase the first 15 stories, okay, and the public perception will think that grades are not important. Okay, when we say grades are not everything, and then they probably will think that we are mandating an entrepreneur mindset of trying to do something very different, but that is not the case.
There are many stories of success out there, but all of them are common in terms of experiencing failure and hardships. His story is one to be inspired from downs to ups. He is willing to share it with us today. He is No Ghani, a sound designer and composer who runs turntable music. So, being a music composer and having your own studio, do you define your career as a success?
Success is not the right word, but because there's never end. Achievement maybe yes, because I'm happy. That's my dream when I was back then in school, and now I have my own studio. I mean, do a lot of work that make me happy. But the journey never ends, so it's always carry on. You see.
Maybe you can explain to us how this journey started.
Music that made me start, actually, I started like music when I was in secondary school, early secondary school, when I see my friend perform on stage. So I don't have a luxury of, learning guitar in music school, stuff like that, but that makes me want to learn. So I started back then when I was in secondary school, so watching my friend perform, then I want to be one. Then obviously, with the limitation, I have to pick up everything by myself back then.
Can you share with us the failures and hardships you faced throughout your career?
There's always a up and down. I mean, when you started working as a junior, with people, you have, you don't have enough knowledge, you don't have enough experience, so you're dealing with some bosses like, they expect you to do like bomb, everything just right on like that. So, but the perseverance, I mean, like I don't look back. I just keep going and keep learning, keep practicing, keep listening to people's good work, keep watching. That make me stay on till now.
Mr. Winston Tay, a blogger on the Blogfather, shared his opinions about 100 Voices on his blog page. He said, please stop for a minute. We are making things worse. All these 100 stories from 100 voices about defining and achieving success 100 ways. All these, I did well despite my studies. So can your child. Now let's group hug. So, what do you think of the group 100 Voices?
100 Voices is a group that tries to share stories about successes despite PSLE scores. I think that's how they started out. The problem I have with them is they are very focused on the despite the scores part. And how you define success really has nothing to do with your PSLE or your O levels or your A levels or your IT certificates. Because at the end of the day, once you come out, if you're doing your job well, or if you know how to do something really well, naturally you succeed at it. It's got nothing to do with certificates, education, or whatnot. So that half of their intention is already wrong.
What do you think should be the right intention from them?
Draw away from the whole education aspect of it. Scores have nothing to do with it. The whole reason why we're having this problem right now with our kids is because we are emphasizing too much on our grades. So at the end of the day, you study so much and then you come out and work, is it going to make a difference to you? We have already grown up knowing that it hasn't made a difference.
As a parent yourself, do you have any advice to parents out there whose children are taking a major exam?
To all the parents that are very concerned with their children not doing well in school or not getting enough grades or you don't know what's going to happen to them at O levels, E levels, whether they're going to get a university degree. The only two words that I can give you as a very good piece of advice from someone who's been there is because when they grow up, they need to eke out their own paths. They need to live their own lives, whether or not you're going to be there to support them or not.
From humbling beginnings comes great things. Mr. Fandi Ahmad, currently Singapore's football assistant coach, has a legendary status as a former player himself. One of the first few players from Asia to have played in Europe and captained Singapore to Malaysia Cup and League glory in 1994.
For me, I believe in 3Ds because once I was coach and the coaches we got some coaches, who talk about discipline, determination, education. So made us known that to be successful, to be at the level that you want to be, you must have all these values. That's discipline, determination, dedication. But the most important thing for me is the S. Is whether big S or small S. I think is the sacrifice that you must make throughout. Because with a talent, but you don't work hard, you can't get anywhere. Yeah, I think it's very difficult for modern day players because they have to divide their studies, their sports, every day, and it is the generation has changes, a lot of changes, and a lot of setback outside football. Last time we don't have many things. We don't have even phone. We don't have sometimes TVs. So there's no distraction. For the current players, I think there's a lot of distraction. because through medias and everything, and I can see that a lot of them are not focused on what they love to do, and I don't know how many of them are very strong mentally to proceed to progress further if they love to become a footballer. But important thing, they must know what they really want. I've actually never thought of going to other paths beside football. All my life, as 11 years old, I always wanted to be a footballer, not realizing that there wasn't any football, professional football in our region. And like I said, my life was already, the path was already there for me, because I believe God gave me that path and I took it, and I did not stop, I did not go astray, but I follow that path, which is my talent, and I make full use of it. But important thing is how you believe in yourself, how you work hard to get back to where you are, and to be strong mentally, physically. The most important thing, stay humble and you won't stumble.
Failure should not be feared. Instead, it should be treated positively so that we can all learn from it. So, there you have it. Different stories and views on achieving success.